sipping low key. I'm sipping low key and honest. Rider. I get those goosebumps every time. I'm around, things on mine to make everything go fine. Everybody's fine. I get those goosebumps every time. I need the hype, throw that to the side. I get those goosebumps every time, yeah. When you're not around, we can throw that to the side. I get those goosebumps every time.
Up the mugs. Yes, sir.
Kevin!
Come on! Get in there! Come on! No.
It's coming. It's on the way. Oh, no.
Not there yet,
man. The first day of the season. It's coming. Bit early yet.
Not yet. If you'd have played the Europa League music, I'd have been all for it. At this point in the season, if you played that music, you've gone for the dream.
I don't want to hear it. Come on. I don't want to hear it, baby.
Get in.
The dream is still alive. As long as it is still alive, that will be played every now and again. Hopefully every week. But there is a poll as well in the chat. If you like that music and you'd like to hear it, some more of that music next year, hit the yes button. If you don't think it's possible, hit the no button. But welcome to Loaded Mag in UFC. As you can guess, victory for the Toon. Never in doubt. Maybe not. Maybe it was some doubt along the way, but we got there in the end. Commiserations to Little Dan and Wolves. Actually, they did put up a good fight there today, and on another day, this could have been a totally different show. So, but let's get into the show. Pete, how are you?
Oh. Yeah, I've had to take a breath or two just to kind of like calm everything down. I've had it twice today, I'm not going to lie. Reason being, my daughter's game this morning, 2-0 down in the first half, came back, won 4-3.
Hey!
Daughter scores a hat-trick, but it was like it was like a heart in mouth moment. Like towards the end of the game, there was some moments of brilliance for the goalkeeper. My daughter was on top form as ever. So my heart was going then, and then I thought, I'm settled now, ready for the game. And then by the end of it, I'm like, it's been a mad one. I need a rest, but hey, as we said before we went live, we'll take the heart palpitations as long as we get the 3 points in the bag, and that's exactly what we did. Come on. What about you, fella? How you feeling?
Newcastle United should come with a health warning for sure. What about me? The relief when we'll get into the game, but when that look, I'll stop myself. Let's talk about it. Talk about all. We'll get through the action. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. That'll enable the chat to get in the chat. And make sure, wherever you are, if you're watching this back later or the next week or whenever, or now live, smash that like button as well, so more people get to find out about Loaded and find us and come on the journey with us. So let's get into it. The team news, bit different to what we said in the way days, Pete. But here was the team news. Yes, Hall and not Kelly, which I found surprising. From my way days team sheet. Chino, not Trips. Longstaff, not Tonali. Murphy, not Barnes. And Char back in as is expected instead of Kraft. Willock back on the bench as well, as we said on the way days as well. We knew Eddie was up to a bit of games there, as he always says. But what was your thoughts on the team news, Pete?
I'm not going to lie, I was a bit surprised with the team news for the points that you've just made. The Tonali one was a willy won't he type thing. I was surprised, I'm not going to lie, even more so that Murphy started ahead of Barnes. I was convinced he'd had 2 weeks to work with Barnes. Barnes played well. He was brilliant against Spurs for the 70, 80 minutes, however long he was on the pitch for. And you kind of felt like he has to play him. He has to go strongest front three, and he didn't. And that was probably one of my biggest surprises overall. The Livramento Trippier situation, it was up in the air like the Tonali Longstaff situation. It was one of those things. He's come back from international break. Great to see Shaw back in the team. That's the one that should have happened 110%, come back in, and boy, did we miss him. I'm sure we'll get into it. So yeah, they were the kind of the biggest question marks for me on it, and the biggest surprise. But Daz, like, what was the thing that kind of stood out for you as your biggest, like, whoa, when you saw the lineup pop up?
I think, first of all, I was surprised to see Hall in there, because I just thought that Kelly would strong, like I said on the way there, that Hall is the future. Yeah. Hall is absolutely class. I was saying we don't need Aiden Norrie because we've got Hall. He's beyond his level, and he's one for now and the future. So I just thought Kelly would offer us a kind of a more physical presence there, especially when we're playing away. But then, like, Tonali, why did not play Tonali and play Longstaff? Now, like, Longstaff has played some good games in the last few weeks, but it was Tonali time for me today. Yeah, I wanted Pino, but I was expecting trips, and so there was a few surprises. And I was like, why not Barnes? So there was plenty of shocks there, Pete, in the team news. But we will get into it because Wolves as well. This is the Wolves squad. Yeah, and I've gone a bit different to what Little Dan said as well, because Wolves normally Dan was saying played 5-3-2 and they're going to go with the wing backs, but they matched us up 4-3-3. So
remember that question that I asked him during the show?
Would it happen
during the tactics board? I said exactly that was one of the last things I asked him. I was like, "Do you think?" I said to Little Dan, "Do you think that they could go like 4-3-3 and match us up?" And he was like, "Don't think so with the wing backs, blah blah blah." And then when I saw that, I thought they've matched us up. They've matched us up to go toe to toe with us to try and cancel us out. They were worried coming into this game about what we could possess. So that was for me, their lineup was more interesting than ours, with the way they set up their team. Because as Little Dan said, and as you've just said, Daz, they normally play 5 at the back, and they didn't. So it was very.
He did point to a time they went 4 at the back before, and it just did not work for them. So yeah, it was surprising. But let's go fast forward through that first half, and then we never have to talk about it again. But good early possessions from Newcastle. Murphy's shot from an Isak through ball resulted in the Newcastle corner. The keeper got to tap it over. J7 kind of mopping up when required as well. He started well, J7. Newcastle had the dominating in the possession, like not like we're used to really, because we'd like at least 75% possession, and Wolves were just waiting to hit us on the counter. 22 minutes, Gordon ran through the Wolves defense. He got about, I'm going to say 3, maybe it was 2 players, but he got about 2 or 3 players and hit the post. Unlucky. Would have been a bit of a worldie if that one went in. Okay. Gordon actually was coming back to the old Gordon. He wasn't completely at the level he was at before, but he was getting there. 24 minutes, Wolves with a half chance after a run, after J7 lost the ball. Then Belgrade run and a shot over the bar like 3 minutes later. Then 35 minutes, goal from Wolves from Mario Lemina on the counter attack. Longstaff loses it. Byrne was kind of manhandled by the not that he's well used to manhandling everyone else, by the way, by Larson. And Joe Gomez kind of did a step over, kind of jumped over it, and Lemina just taps it in. Poor goal to concede for Newcastle. But your thoughts on Wolves' goal, Pete?
I was so frustrated by it because I couldn't, up until that point, I couldn't really argue with the half. I actually thought, we were playing well. It was just a case of we just needed to find that goal to really sort of almost solidify that dominance that we had in the first half, because there was dominance. There was a stat up partway through the first half. It was like 76, something like possession against Wolves away from home. We were controlling things, but it just very quickly started to unravel just by our own mistakes. And you talked about it. Longstaff loses the ball high up. There's no way he should be giving the ball away there. In that position, he wasn't under that much pressure to lose the ball so easily, and bang, they're on the counter attack. Now you could argue that Burns should have done more in that situation. Defensively, he wasn't great in that position. You could argue that Bruno Guimaraes doesn't track his man. He doesn't follow. He doesn't track the way he should be as a midfielder, and as the quality of what Bruno Guimaraes could do. And then it's just poor. Like it's just poor all round in terms of tracking players, monitoring players. It's too easy. That's the thing. When you look at Newcastle United, not last season before, we were very hard to beat because we were very dogged in our defending. And in that moment, we weren't, and we just let them score a goal that was far too easy. You know, when you're away from home, you need to make sure the team earns the fact that they score a goal. It wasn't a great goal to score. And lovely, I think it was João Gomez, a lovely little dummy to open up the space for the goal. Great piece of like movement there. But other than that, it wasn't really a fantastic goal from a Wolves perspective. They'll be buzzing, of course there were. But a lot of mistakes there from Newcastle United, and it was really frustrating after a period of dominance. But what was your feeling, Daz, in that moment? Were you like me, where I was kind of like we were up on top, and then we've just kind of given it away, or did you have kind of a feeling to it?
Yeah, I had flashbacks to me saying to little Dan that they were going to finish 17th in the table, and that coming back to rub it in my face. Yeah, it was just a bit of a disaster, really. And you're just going, oh, here we go. Our away form, is this going to be our downfall again this season? You just like, but you know, it was early as well. There's plenty of time to try and come back into it, but just the fear factor really got into me then, Pete, at that stage. But fast forward a bit, because 2 minutes later, J7 got a yellow card, just mainly out of frustration. But Wolves were gifted another free hit as our defence was split open, but the shot was wide. That took us to half-time, and so 1-0 down at halftime, things needed to change. Something needed to give. Of course, Isak actually went down just before halftime as well. With I think it was Dawson cleared the ball, and it nearly took his nose off with the clearance. So he had a bloody nose. But we all expected him to come out in that second half. And I know I put in our chat, I bring on pretty much what Betty did. I bring on Sandro, Willock, and Barnes. Is what I said in our chat. I did mention taking off Isak though, but Isak, they couldn't stop the nose from bleeding or whatever. So yeah, he was off. But we needed changes there, Pete. You were on the same page, were you, for the changes?
100%. There were. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not even gonna hold it back, Daz. There were some absolute stinkers in their first half. I'm sorry. There were, and people might disagree with me. There was some absolute stinker of performances on that pitch. And Joe Linton, we love him. He gives a lot to the club, and he gives a lot to our midfield performances, but he had an absolute stinker in there. Started well first 5 or 10 minutes, then just completely lost his way. Sean Longstaff, you could argue the goal was down to him giving the ball away cheaply, but it wasn't the only time, Daz. And I'm sorry. I know, I watched the Geordie Journos video. I watched other people and listened to other people talk about Longstaff should start. And yeah, people talk about he's had a great start to the season. He had a decent start. Let's be clear on that. He had a decent
better
start.
Than last season.
Better than last season. But he wasn't pulling up trees all over the place, scoring goals, making assists. He wasn't doing all that.
Like he was the season before.
Exactly. And then when you're giving the ball away cheaply, which he tends to do, and he did it today time and time again, you've got to pull the trigger. And people have argued that we haven't made decisions and subs quick enough. Well, Eddie Howe did then. He made the decisions. It wasn't good enough. Obviously, the Isak one was forced. We'd have loved him to stay on the pitch. He actually played well when he got the ball at his feet and was able to run at them, caused some problems. But obviously there was an issue with his nose. I think it was something about they couldn't stop the bleeding when the ball was cleared. It whacked his nose. That's not a big issue. He'll play against Fulham, no doubt about that. But the other two 100% needed to be changed. So I was really pleased at the proactivity of the management to bring those players on. And I'm sure we'll get into that conversation as well. But, as we've already mentioned, were they the right changes for you? Were you?
That's exactly. If you look back at the text, that's what I said. Oh, yeah. I didn't actually say who I'd take off, but I said who I'd bring on because I said to Nally and Barnes, and I said if Isak is anyways halfway fit, bring him on as well because he could be the difference maker. I thought Isak was going to be staying on the pitch though at that time. But yeah, I thought. Like you said there, Pete, I thought Joelinton started well for 5 or 10 minutes, and then he just got sloppy after that. And I kind of started to question then, where are we going with Joelinton long term? I love him as well, and he's in the enforcer and just putting himself about. But I just started to question a few things then. But I was like, why is Longstaff playing who we have Tonali on there ready to go? But yeah, let's move on. Because 46 minutes, Bruno had a shot from distance, was pushed away. 46 minutes, a penalty claim off Dawson. VAR said no, it was handball. It wasn't a penalty. Are you on the same opinion? It was a ricochet kind of back.
The Dawson one.
Yeah.
You
all say it's a penalty anyway.
I'm not going to lie. 1-0 down. I'm like, penalty.
Yeah, so was I. Did, yeah.
But in reality, yeah, you can't argue that. I think if it was the other way around, we'd have been like Wolves were like, come on, like it's not intentional. But at the time I was going, it's the arm, come on, the ball moving towards goal, all that stuff. But no, in reality, not a penalty.
So then that was the 46 minutes. 48 minutes, Gordon shot was saved by Dawson's face. Take that one back for Isak, Dawson. But then Gordon getting joy. Yeah, he's chasing down Sam Johnson a goal. He's getting some joy. Of course, he was playing up front then in number 9 position while Isak was off. And Newcastle, you could see the intensity had increased in that half. Byrne got a yellow card then. 52 minutes, Wolves hit the post from Larson. Without Isak, we'd no real threat up top though. It was I wrote it down here. It was like we're down to 10 men for a period. We started really well in the second half, and then it kind of faded off a bit again. And I think Eddie made the same kind of comment in his post-match interview. Then 60 minutes, Larson's header, Pope save. 63 minutes, Tino come off and Trips came on. 67 minutes, Wolves shot, Pope save. After the I think it was from Kuna, the break from Kuna. Then 74 minutes. Here he comes. Shar with the thunder bastard. Dawson with the assist as it looped over the keeper. And while we're at it, we might as well play the little celebration from Shar. Fabian Shar back after his 3-match ban. Bertrand Diaz still not won the game. But yes, Shar makes it level, 1-1. Pete, we needed that goal so badly. The relief when that ball went in the net. How was that one for you?
The relief. Both of our reactions to that, both of our voice notes to that could have testified to the relief that we had when that ball hit the net. We started to plug and push a little bit more, started to push players up to the pitch. We just didn't have anyone that just wanted to shoot. And when you want someone to shoot, here's your boy right there, or there, shall I say, there, that can do the business. And yeah, it might have been a little bit fortunate with the deflection, but hey, when Fabian Schär can shoot from distance. He can make a difference. And wow, brilliant goal at a perfect time for us to get that. And it was, we were pushing at that point, so it was well deserved. We were on top at that point. We were kicking on. We're pushing for that result. There's other reasons why we're pushing for that result, and I'm sure we'll come into it when we kind of assess the end of the game. But exactly what we needed, and at that point, my exact words to myself, screaming at the time, is, "Let's go for the win. Let's go for the jugular. We've got them on the ropes now. Let's go. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. Don't sit back in and let them back into the game. We need to keep pushing on." But it was a brilliant strike. Fortunate, yeah, maybe. I don't care. Couldn't care less. What about you, Daz?
Couldn't care less either. We got back into the game, and yeah, I totally agree with you. Those voice notes, those common words in all of them. But yes, total relief. Schär then decided, that's it. I'm a striker. I'm staying up at the top of the pitch. I'm not tracking back ever again, because he continues to stay forward. And there was another move that he was involved with, but we didn't have to wait long for that second, because 79 minutes. Barnes with the absolute screamer. Barnes on the left wing, on to Willock, back to Barnes. Barnes cuts inside. Screamer towards the top corner. 2-1 Newcastle. Here's that actual shot, if you can visualize it again. But 2-1 Newcastle, and cue the celebrations here. We have to have his own celebration as well. Bow and arrow. But Pete, what are you having on that one?
Wow. Unbelievable strike. A strike worthy of winning any game, any football game. And I mentioned about the Schär goal. If you don't shoot, you don't score. It's as simple as that. And we hadn't done enough of it in the game. But when you got this boy on the team, anything's possible. Anything is possible, because this boy knows how to score goals. And I was just praying for it to open up, because as soon as he was going to go back on the outside, and I'll kind of give my opinion on Harvey Barnes in a little bit later. But the way he just cuts inside, he just opens up the space. And I was just hoping for it to just open up, and it did. And honestly, as soon as he hit the ball, I was already kind of half celebrating. I just needed to see it nestle in the back of the net. When sometimes you see it and you're looking at it and you're just waiting for it to hit the net, because sometimes it looks like it's going in and it might just go wide or just past the post.
Hit the post.
Yeah, or that as well. Like, it was a little bit like the Gordon one in the first half. I'm already half celebrating because I think it's in, and it hits the post. Oh my God. As soon as it nestles in there, oh. I'll put it out. I'm gonna put the comment that I put on there. This is what he does. Harvey Barnes, banger after banger after banger. He doesn't score half-ass goals. The guy knows how to put the ball in the net. This is what Harvey Barnes does. And what a goal. Daz, come on. What was your reaction? Tell us.
No. My reaction, I can't remember what the reaction was. Yes, I was screaming. No, Luca had just come in the door at the time, or both of us were screaming at it. It was just class. I was like thinking, did it go exactly in the top corner? Oh, it did. Perfect. Now let's rock on. I said, Pete at this moment in time, Pete's score correction is right. Will my score prediction be right of 3-1? But I'll take it. I'll take after being 1-0 down, I'll take the 2-1. But no, just absolutely delighted Pete at that stage, and thoroughly deserved from our the comeback, let's say, that we had gone through, and not for the first half, but for come back into it for all the work in the second half. Then I can't remember what time, but then Bruno went off and Kelly came on, so we switched to 5 at the back. And then at this stage, Pope had another save from Kuna. Was an unbelievable save, actually. Absolutely a class save. Yes, as Lisa says there, who's on another holiday, by the way. Another holiday for Lisa. Smash that like button, everyone. Just like Harvey Barnes smashed it to the back of the net. That is your target. Then actually another little bit of entertainment, I guess, for us is where the ball, there was a throw. I think was it for us? But it must have been for us. And Jacob Murphy decides to walk off down the car park instead of getting the ball close by him, just to retrieve the ball. But he got a yellow for that. I love that. Love that little bit of shithousery. Just a little bit of time. Then we nearly got a third as well. Barnes nearly got into for the third at the end. But at the end of that, 2-1 Newcastle, full time, happy days. We'll take that. Relief. Never in doubt, really, Pete.
Get in there. I wouldn't say never in doubt. I was always confident before the game that we could go and win there. But it was about us going out and doing the business. But I will have to be honest. When Harvey Barnes scored that goal, I did think that's us then. It was a perfect time. 10 minutes to go. We literally just completely ended Wolves' confidence at that point because they knew it was going to be difficult to get back in it. It did take a world-class save from Nick Pope to keep us in it. I thought that save was absolutely world-class, superb save to keep us in it. But yeah, I was always confident that they weren't going to create too much to be able to claw themselves back into the game. Unbelievable, mate. Unbelievable. Massive win. We needed to make sure at this point in the season that we started off our away form well. We took a point when some may say we probably didn't deserve it against Bournemouth, but we've got games this early part of the season that we need to be taking points in. And to get 3 points at Molineux won't be an easy place to go. Not everyone will get points there this season. The fact that we've gone there and took the points today, massive. The confidence that will give the boys now to go on a run with the games that we've got coming. Brilliant stuff. Absolutely buzzing, mate.
And you know what? Confidence. I like that word, confidence, because the poll has just ended. Ooh. The question was, is Champions League qualification maybe top 4 or maybe 5th a possibility for Newcastle this season? Yes, 72%. If everything goes our way. No, 27%. The wheels will fall off eventually. 135 votes there. So there's a lot of confidence there, Pete. Not just me.
Well, I admire the confidence. I like the confidence, the fact that people think that we can get it. Of course, it's still early days, and we've got a lot of football to play. But if you look at it, and look, I've maintained, Daz, that I do think before the transfer window ended, I did think that we'd have a chance at pushing for Champions League football. But I always had in my mind it being 5th and having the 5th place available with the coefficient. I do think the English teams will have a good season in Europe, all of them. I do think they'll exceed themselves. And so it would open up 5th place. And I think 5th place is 100% a target for Newcastle United. There's no doubt about it. Obviously, we're picking up results when not playing well. But yeah, it's still very much early days. But hey, if we're sat here in November, December, January, still living the dream and playing this music for Champions League, hey, I'll quite gladly take that all day long, mate.
I think we all will. I think we will, Pete. But let's forget about Champions League for now. But let's look at the table. Because hey, you could even be talking about crazier stuff than that. Well, because we're sitting in third position is where we are. Man City top on 12 points with a 100% record. We're unbeaten as well, by the way. Arsenal, who had their victory today in the North London Derby. Congratulations to Arsenal. Does that mean Deji is no more? I don't know. I don't know. Did you not say something at the end of... our show the other night? Anyway, we'll see. We might see him at Top Table Talk this week. We can ask him then.
I'm not being funny. Dan United's on tetchy waters right now.
Really?
10th place for Man United. They're in tetchy waters right now. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, big up to Dan. Dan United has not been well this week, so he was in touch yesterday.
Get well soon.
Feel better soon, and hopefully he might make an appearance on Tuesday. You never know. But what we can confirm, Daz, is that Wolfie, Nottingham Forest, are well within their rights to be in this conversation at this point in time. after a monstrous result. So yeah, but more importantly, the most important one, as you talked about, Daz, Newcastle United are third, still unbeaten. As was mentioned right at the top of the show, there was someone, and I can't remember who, I apologize, put us as the Invincibles at this moment. Again, maybe a little bit too early on that one, but
I'll need a new tune for that.
He's got a point unbeaten at this moment in time. So not a bad start. Not too shabby for Newcastle United at this moment. Well, what your thoughts, Daz? What you feeling?
Look, what I'm thinking, Pete, is we are not playing well. Even though we played, up until today, we were not playing well. And my comments from the Spurs game, I said it before the Spurs game, I said it after the Spurs game, that was a 6-pointer because I thought Spurs are a team we're going to be battling it out for 4th or 5th spot. That was my vision of the season. But we're getting the results. We're picking up the points and we're flying it in the table. Today the test was for our away form. We all know last season our away form was absolutely shocking, and that was the fear for today. We got over that. We got an away win. We go away again next weekend to Fulham, and if we can do something similar, then why not? Why not? Shoot for the stars here and go for a potential run towards Champions League. But yeah, it is way too early. I know that. But what do I think? We're not playing well, but we're picking up points. So look, they used to say that about Man United. That's how they won titles. They're not playing well, but just still grinding out results and Fergie time and scoring in the last second and all that sort of stuff. We're not at that kind of level yet, but we just need something to click. Even in the post-match interviews with Barnes and Shar, they said, that we're not playing to the best of our ability. They asked the question was, where can you improve? Everywhere was the answer. They asked Eddie Howe the same kind of a question, and he said the same thing. Everywhere they can improve. But I did see signs of it today. We and I suppose maybe that was down to us having a lot of possession, but it's just been clinical up front. I just think they need to get Isak scoring 1 or 2. I know he scored against Spurs, but just like him scoring 1 or 2 goals to get the confidence up, and then get Wilson back as well to get and then they can battle it out for the starting spot. So that's what I'm thinking, Pete. How about yourself?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you on a lot of points you just said, mate. Absolutely. I mean, first and foremost, being third, whether it's 4 games in, 15 games in, 20 games in, we're giving ourselves a fighting chance to be up there and fighting by being up there right now and getting points on the board. That's all I care about, honestly. Yes, we're not playing well. Our performances aren't great. It's not good for the old ticker, as we've alluded to many times during this show tonight. But honestly, we are getting the points on the board, and that is exactly what it's all about. I remember having a conversation with Dan Potts about Arsenal at this stage of the season, last season, and even 10, 12 games in, Arsenal were not playing well. And albeit, they didn't win the league, but they were right in the mix even to the last game of the season, because when their performances started becoming good in the second half of the season, it all started to knit and come together. And that's what we're hoping for Newcastle United. If we can pick points up whilst not playing well, when we do play well, we know we can actually obliterate teams when we're playing well. And Harvey Barnes said in an interview, and you've just touched on it there, he knows they were going into games last season when our tails were up and we had players back fit, we knew we were going into games knowing we could score 2, 3, 4 goals. That's not in question because we've got the quality of players. It's about putting that performance together. But when you've got those quality players, you've still got moments where you can go and win the game. You've got moments where you can win a game just like that. And you know what? Putting up that table now, Chelsea are a classic example of that. Not really playing great, but because they've got such a big pool of players, of good players, it's enough to get you the points on the board. And that's how they won against Bournemouth. Not because they played well, because they had a huge influx of players that they could just put on at any point that could just win them a moment like that. And that's what we're doing at the moment. Now, for me, I'm confident that we can start knitting this together. We need a run of games where we're playing the best players that we could possibly play. And this is a conversation, Daz, that maybe we need to have at this point, because I tweeted that out after the game and a number of other people have talked about it as well. For me, yes, Barnes come on, Tonali come on and change the game. Joe Willett, special mention. I thought he was absolutely tremendous today when he came on.
And he didn't get injured. Is even better.
For someone that was doing individual training, as Eddie Howe said, and was in line to play, the fact that he brought him on at 45 minutes said he was ready to go, and he proved that he was very, very good today. For me, I want to get your thoughts on this, Daz. We need to play our best players, and Harvey Barnes and Sandro Tonali, very much so, are in that conversation. Do you agree? What are your thoughts on that, mate?
Well, before I go to my thoughts on that, Pete, I just want to do this. Because, hang on, there's 107 likes on the video, but there's 135 votes in the poll. So if you can click the poll, you can click the like button. And there's 315 people watching us live. What's your excuse?
Math is not mathing right now. Math is not mathing. Come on, people.
Hang on. I think you need a sound effect for that, Pete. Do that again, Pete.
Math is not mathing right now.
Yes, it's not. Right. But while you're hitting that, and before I answer your question, and while you're hitting that like button, here's a shout out to the Radiator Shed. Yes, the Radiator Shed. Russ at theradiatorshed.com is the email address. Loaded 20 is the code. The telephone number is 077 666 04112. As it starts to get a bit chilly, you might be in need of some radiators. So contact Russ, the Radiator Shed. He will sort you out. More coming up from Manscaped in a little while. But answer your question. Do we need to play our best team? Is what you're asking me, Pete.
Yeah, do we need to play our best players? So for me, I'm going to be honest with you. And there were a couple of conversations around should we play Hall or should we play Lloyd Kelly? I'm not on about that. Should we play Tino Livramento? Should we play Trippier? Not on about that. I'm on about should we be playing one of our best midfielders in our team, Sandro Tonali, who had an absolute star-studded performances for Italy, looks fit and ready to go, but on the bench for Newcastle United. He should be playing. Harvey Barnes, who played fantastic 70 minutes against Spurs, been with Eddie Howe training with him over the last 2 weeks, should be starting, in my opinion. Should we be playing our best players? Would it have been the right move to play those two and start those two players? What are your thoughts about that?
Does he eat spaghetti? Does he drink Moretti? Is he not a massive fan of Sunderland? Yes, we should be playing Sandro Tonali from the start. No offense to Sean Longstaff, and I don't think he can take offense either, but this is Sandro Tonali. And Longstaff has a vital role for us for the season, but it's more of rotation kind of a role for me. I would definitely be starting Tonali. Hall and Kelly, it's as the games, whoever we're playing and who we're lining up against. And if we have a really pacey attacking or right winger for our left back to go up against, or do we need someone more physical? Or you can judge that. And again, I'm training, so I think they'll mix and match as the season goes on. Burn as well. At times it was a bit shaky. At times today, I think I could see Kelly slotting in there at times as well. We know Botman is to come back as well, closer to Christmas and that. But yeah, the big one is I would be starting Tonali, Pete. And I know again with Tino and Trips, myself, I would start Tino, but Trips has a vital role to play as well in that kind of rotation kind of a role. So but yeah, go with domination in the location. That domination in any location is not working for Deji these days.
It is for us, man. It is for us.
It is.
Whether it's at SJP or away from home, away days, domination in the look. Maybe we should use that as our little tag at the moment. Maybe coming in domination in the look.
That'd be cheeky though, wouldn't it? Could be copyright infringement there. Pete, yeah, but you're obviously going to do the same, Pete, in bringing in Tonali. But what's your thoughts? I think you want to have and as well as that, I would be playing as if in the way days squad selection, I'd be playing Barnes and Gordon and having them alternate and switch during the games.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I've got a few thoughts on this, so apologies if you feel like I'm rambling on, but I think it's important to have this conversation. First of all, Harvey Barnes must start for Newcastle United. And look, I tweeted that after the game. You boys know it, Daz and Chris, because I've spoke to you guys countless times, whether it's been on transfer shows, unloaded, or just privately in our chat. There's a reason why we spent 38 million on Harvey Barnes, and all the journalists have talked about it. Some of our good friends, Liam Kennedy, Jordan Cronin on the Geordie Journals questioned the 38 million. Craig Hope and various others have questioned Harvey Barnes. And why did we spend that money when we've got Anthony Gordon? Well, you pay the money for what you saw today. And what we've seen countless times since he's actually been fit is that you've got a guy that's an absolute, and I repeat, stone cold killer. The guy knows how to put the ball in the net. And this is the thing. There's a lot of Newcastle fans within the circuit of social media that want to kind of almost compare Harvey Barnes to Anthony Gordon. You cannot do that. They're two different players. Anthony Gordon will run all day for you. He'll hit 11, 12 kilometers in a match. He'll run all day for you. He'll track back. He'll win tackles. He'll make runs forward. He'll do all of that stuff. And that's brilliant because that's the Eddie Howe mold. He wants players like that. But if we're going to evolve as a team, we can't have all players that are just gritty and workmanlike. You need a little bit of extra stardust, a little bit of extra top-level quality. And that's what Harvey Barnes brings you. Harvey Barnes isn't going to work and run himself into the ground for you. It's not his game. It never has been. You watch Leicester. He never done that. But what he's going to give you in the final third is moments of brilliance, moments where he will win the game for you. And he not just win the game on the odd game, he'll win the game for you countless times because he's proven it at Leicester. You look at his career, scored big goals in big moments for Leicester City that have ended up winning them trophies. He'll do that for Newcastle United, and hopefully he gives us an opportunity to win a trophy. But he will win games for Newcastle United like he's done today. It's not the first time that he's done that. And this is where we need to understand that different players, regardless of whether they're playing the different positions, will give us different elements of qualities. And Harvey Barnes, for me, should be starting. He's not a right winger, but he's already proved this season that he can play there and play well there. But so can Anthony Gordon. Anthony Gordon was signed for Newcastle United, having played most of his football of his young career at right wing. So we can shift him over to the right wing and play Harvey Barnes. I'm sorry. We love Murphy because of his memes and because of his moments that he produces. And he just produced moments.
From the car park to get the ball.
Exactly that point. And he'll give us great assists like he does, like he did against Tottenham, and he'll have moments in games where he'll pull out something out the bag. But he is very inconsistent. And we cannot afford to have players like that on the pitch that are starting games for Newcastle United. We need our best players starting. And Harvey Barnes has proven that he deserves to start for Newcastle United, first and foremost. However, I'm going to touch on an area and come in whenever you feel you want to kind of counteract or give your opinion, Daz, on this. We have to be in a position now where we've got to get tough with players. And the one thing that came out to me, and there was another guy in our sort of Midlands South mag chat that we've got, and one of my good friends, Emeka, touched on this as well, and I'm in full agreement with him because I was thinking exactly the same, is that Eddie Howe's comments after the game were very, very telling. Very telling. If you're not putting the performances in, we've got players that can come in and do the job for you. And it might have not been those exact words, but it was words to that effect that he had after the game today. Mm-hmm. And there's a reason why Joe Linton and Longstaff got chopped at half-time. That performance from those two was not good enough. And you can argue with Sean Longstaff that, okay, we've seen it before, so it's kind of expected. Joe Linton needs to be very careful. He's had a couple of stinkers this season. We've only played 4 games. He's had a couple of stinkers this season. And yes, he's on a new contract, and we love him to bits. But if he's not putting in the performances and making a difference to this midfield, we're going to bring players on that can. And the guy that I'm going to talk about is not Harvey Barnes or Sandro Tonali. It's Joe Willock. Because Joe Willock came on today and did what Joe Linton should have done in the first half. I thought Joe Willock was superb today. Yes, he didn't score a goal or get an assist or have that super moment where you can put the data on there as he's made an impact, but that boy made an impact. His running, his ability to unlock defenses, his running off the ball into tight spaces to pull defenders away, to create space for the likes of Barnes and Gordon and Bruno on the ball that effectively helped create the moment in which we scored. Joe Willock needs big praise for that. He created a moment. And if he's going to create moments like that, do not be surprised if Joe Linton starts on the bench against Fulham and Joe Willock's in the team. Do not be surprised if that's the case, because Joe Linton needs to up his game. He was brilliant against Southampton. Effectively, almost single-handedly won us the game. He got the goal and he was all over the place, all action. One game's not enough. We need that every single week. And this is the thing, Daz, and we've talked about it privately. We haven't got European football to sit back on to go, yeah, there's another performance there. There's another game. It's week to week, week to week. We have to make sure that those performances that we play on a Saturday or a Sunday are good. And at the moment, Joe Linton's a little bit techie right now. He's not playing well. But the great thing about it is we've got Joe Willock and Sandro Tonali knocking on the door, because they can quite easily come in and sit alongside Bruno Guimaraes. Absolutely. Last point from me. There's a reason why Eddie Howe does not want Kieran Trippier to leave this season. And it was proven today. We were one as a 3 that were very happy to have Tino Livramento as number 1. But it was proven today and in previous games that the consistency isn't quite there with Tino Livramento. Now, if we had Kraft coming off the bench or Harrison Ashby come off the bench, it wouldn't have had the same effect. Kieran Trippier created calm, quality on the ball, set-piece technique. He created so much that we didn't have previously. And in those minutes that he was on for Newcastle United today, he was better than Tino Livramento. He wasn't at it today. He wasn't great, Tino Livramento. This is why we need a squad of players available to us. And this is why Eddie Howe didn't want Trippier to go. And this is why it was a very, very good decision that he didn't leave. And I want to get your thoughts on those comments there. So with Joe Linton and Joe Willock, with Trippier and Tino Livramento, what are your thoughts on that? I've had my say. I've been meaning to make this comment. Today proved a lot of those things for me. Are you of the same mindset? Are you thinking different? What are your thoughts, mate?
Okay, the 3 points. 1, I agree. Apart from the first game of the season on, so agree in the first point. Joe Linton, J7. I think he was my man of the match the first game of the season, and then after that he's been gone downhill a bit. I'm all for someone giving him a kick up the arse, as long as not me having to give him the kick up the arse, because no one really wants that job. he leaving him on the bench mightn't be a bad thing. Just to kind of to give him a wake up call as well. He started really well for the first 5 or 10 minutes and then didn't kind of lost it. So that's what had me when in the run through. I did have that kind of a worry about where are we going here with Joe Linton if this is what is happening, because as you said, it's been the last few games now that this kind of thing has happened. That's point one on Joe Willock. I tether between Joe Linton or Willock has to play every game. He's unbelievable. He's the difference maker. He's the only one that can actually kind of bring the ball up first, carry the ball up first, be that kind of link between attack and midfield. And then that's on one side, and the other side is Joe Willock. His career's over. It's another injury. He's going to fall over again. Every time he goes down, I worry because he's made a paper kind of thing. But that maybe this is where Bunce comes in and he tries to manage that situation with him and kind of guide Eddie on as well on how much time to give him. Maybe he's a bit part player for a while and not a starter. I know what you're saying about throwing him in from the start, or maybe he gets the first 45 minutes and then comes off, but and that would kind of give the wake up call to J7. But I agree with you on that one. The third one was around Trips and Tino. Tino for me is number one. Trips though, I it's a lot of pressure to put on Tino to be number one. We're number one right back. We're not putting the same pressure on Hall because it's between Hall, Kelly, even Target, I suppose, is an option. I'm not even going to go down there with Brian. I don't think Brian should ever play in left back again first. But Tino, he's a starter for me. But it's great to have Trips to have in the squad, have on the sideline. I saw it myself at Spurs. You won't have seen it on the telly, but he was the manager from the subs running up and down and dictating everything as well from the sideline. And I have no problem as well with Trips starting the game as things go. I was kind of surprised he didn't start today because I thought that would be kind of thanks for staying, Trips, kind of move from Eddie and just to reassure him, I suppose, that he's going to get game time. But so of the 3 points in Med, I think, but I'm happy Trips is staying with us. That would be the least one. I'm agreeing, but the least one I'd agree with, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no. And look, we were in that conversation, weren't we? Saying that Tino should be number one. We have to transition. Trippier is he already 34? He's going to be 34. I think he's close to it. I think he might already be 34 now. It's like we do need to transition in and bring Tino in as a number one because he is the long-term successor to Trippier. So he has to be. But we cannot, for the games where he is inconsistent, we need to bring someone on that's going to be sturdy and going to be able to calm things down and use his experience. Now, I understand Trippier wants to play every week. I get that. But this is the conversation we had over a year ago about Martin Dubravka. Is that when Nick Pope went in, so nearly 2 years ago, when Nick Pope was brought in, don't let other players go just because another one's come in. Make them stay. Make them fight for their place. Make them be on the bench. Improve your squad. And that's what we've done in that position. And I'm really glad that Trippier stayed. Now, it might well mean that Tino Livramento starts against Fulham. And I'm not necessarily against that. But what we need is strength and depth. And we've got options all over the pitch. And that's what I'm really, really pleased about more than anything. So I think you're absolutely fine in that opinion. I agree with you, mate.
Could I ask you a question, Pete? Do you think we would have seen William Masula if we hadn't just scored on that 74th minute from Shar? What was it getting to the stage that, okay, we have to go for broke here, we have to throw him in the deep end? He may not be ready. It may come back, and the fans may in a way turning him a bit and throw something like he's not ready for us, or what are we doing signing him? That kind of an approach. Were we getting to that stage, or do you think that Eddie would have stuck with what he had, and because we were missing a striker. Like if Asula was ready, he would have come on instead of Isak to try and get us a goal back.
Well, I may say something that people don't necessarily agree with, but I actually thought Gordon's game dropped massively when he went up front. I don't think he played overly great in that position. He's not strong enough to hold the ball up. Neither is Isak, but Isak has big moments in being able to carry the ball. And I think he lost a lot of what makes Gordon good when he was a striker, when he played as a frontline forward. And at points in the game, and it might have been on the 60th minute or so, that I was almost kind of thinking myself, we need to bring Asula on because he's big, he's physical. What is he, 6'3", 6'4", whatever he is? Big, tall, physical player. We watched it against, I can't remember who we play against now.
Forest?
In the Cellar Cup when he started. And he looked big and physical, and he was holding the ball up well, using his physique to hold the ball up, and people were playing off him. And it was almost like we were asking for that. And that's what Wilson would normally give us when Isak doesn't, is that ability to hold the ball up, link the play, and keep the ball high up the pitch, and just almost occupy the two centre-backs. Gordon wasn't necessarily doing that. And so I wasn't against him coming on and playing. But look, Asula wasn't for this season. He's not. Like I'm already kind of,
last season.
Yeah, exactly. Hall and Livramento, they were kind of almost sort of pushed into it, really, with the injuries that we had. They were pushed into it earlier than probably Newcastle and Eddie Howe even wanted. But for me, yeah, I think the longer that Wilson's out, the more we may have to look in his direction if he's actually going to pick up injuries or maybe not be at it, or we have to look at an alternative. There's no harm in throwing Will Asula on to be that target man and to give him that experience. When we're chasing the game now, I just think, you know, long term he will do well for us, and I wasn't against him coming on at all. I've seen little snippets of him that I thought and felt that he could make a difference in this game. But look, I think against AFC Wimbledon, we may see him play. And we may see him get a number of minutes in there. But yeah, I do see it more of a project now. I'm kind of resigned to the fact that is going to be the case, that he's not necessarily a Wilson alternative. It's more of, we're bringing him in, we're going to give him a year to kind of get his feet under the table. And then when Wilson goes at the end of next season, which he will, he won't stay past next season. I'm confident. I can almost feel in my bones that I can guarantee that Wilson will not be here next season, that Asula will.
Well, he's going nowhere because he loves those radiators too much. That's Russ's fault there, I think. Wilson will be gone only for Russ. So get on to Russ, and then as you're talking to him about radiators, no, don't do that. Don't do that. But yeah, no, I agree with you, Pete, that he's kind of more of a project kind of now. But I think I would, if Shar hadn't scored, I would have gone Murphy off, Gordon onto the wing, and go Asula up front just to see what he could do, and go for broke, and maybe even get Miggy on as well, just to because we would have been under real pressure then. Should we go on the questions, Pete? Questions and comments.
Yeah, there's a number of questions in there. That is for sure. Jimmy Watt.
Anyone looking for? Sorry. I was going to say, anyone looking for Chris Hall tonight? Chris is back from his holidays, but he's out celebrating his brother's birthday. So, but Chris will be back with us during the week. Sorry, Pete.
Question put on Twitter or X: is Shara best centre back of all time? Jimmy Watt would say yes. What are your thoughts?
Good point, Jimmy. He's definitely up there. I know on the commentary as well, we're comparing him to Philippe Albert, and yeah, when he did stay up the pitch as well, that kind of did remind me of that. Yeah, he has to be a contender. He's a contender, Jimmy. He'd be in the top 3 of the centre backs.
certainly in my lifetime, he's up there. Absolutely. In my time supporting Newcastle United, he's definitely up there, 100%. He's been a superb centre back for Newcastle United. £3 million, absolute snippet.
Yeah,
the price definitely comes into that conversation. The fact they pay £3 million for him in this day and age, in this particular market, for a team that was about to get relegated or was relegated, he has been a superb. And let's face it, under Bruce, he was on his way out, and he's managed to turn that around. And Eddie Howe has brought him into the player he is now. And if he was 3, 4, 5 years younger, I'm not even lying, a PSG or a Barcelona or somebody else would be looking at Fabian Schär. I'm absolutely convinced of it. If he was 5 years younger, he would be up there as looking at one of the top teams, and his value would be a lot higher than what it is right now. He is a superb centre back, absolutely. Yano's come back to the old Joe Linton conversation. Yeah, he did put that ball in for the Spurs winner.
Yeah.
But Murphy played well and got the assist too. But neither of them were very good today. And it's not.
Murphy wasn't good against Spurs. Because the amount of mistakes he made before leading up to that assist. Because I remember being at the game, and when he came on, he had about 10-minute spell where he gave away the ball about 3 times. And I was shouting to take him off again because he was that bad. But then he did the right thing, but squaring to Isak. Something who didn't do yesterday. We're watching the game. Was a game that was on yesterday. Yesterday evening. It was Villa. It was Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He didn't square it across.
There you go. So look, they've had good moments, but in terms of their performances, which is what we're talking about, and in particular Joe Linton, apart from the Southampton game, those performances, Bournemouth, he was shocking. He was shocking again today. He wasn't great against Spurs, albeit the assist, but this is it. And look, if they're not playing well over a consistent period of time, the question has to be asked. It does. Should he be starting? And Eddie Howe said it. If the players aren't playing well, we've got players in like Joe Willett that's ready to go in. And look, it's about competition for places. I agree with Eddie Howe, absolutely. But yeah, he did put a great ball in, and he got the praise like he fully deserved for organising that winning goal. There are others as well on the back of that. Claire G, one of our spanners, is very, very bullish in her response. I don't want any excuses for not starting Tonali from now on. Are you of the mindset, Daz? Has he earned his place in the team? And should he have now a run of games after today's performance in Joe Linton and Longstaff not playing well? Should he be starting in Newcastle United's team and having a run of games to show that he's the guy that should be starting week in, week out for Newcastle United?
Claire knows ball. Yes, is the answer, Claire. Definitely. And it's no harm as well to give Longstaff a rest. He's going to be a squad player first. Rotation is going to be, because someone's going to pick up cards, someone's going to pick up injuries. So this is plenty of games for everybody. Even though we're not in Europe, there's still plenty of games. But yeah, Tonali comes in.
And I agree with you 110%. And Claire G does know ball. Absolutely. I think this is just a response to the not Harvey Barnes, the Fabian Schär conversation. Schär is an average defender who can pass and shoot. He's nowhere near the level of Woodgate. To be honest, the sooner Schär is out of our back four, the happier I'll be. An alternative opinion there. Very alternative opinion. I thought it was joking, Craig, at that point, but he's putting a very strong opinion in there about Schär. You agree?
The only time I'd agree with that was when Bruce was around, because I had a low opinion of Sheridan as well. I thought he was done, but unbelievable, and I'm glad I was wrong. I think he's class, and the way he brings the ball out though, and sets things up. He did bring it out, but he didn't create much today, apart from his own goal. But yeah, no, I'm sorry, Craig. I disagree with that one.
Yeah, I'm with you. I do agree with that one. I do not agree with that one. Fabian Schär has been a superb centre back for us. And look, as we said, And you mentioned in his comeback, he can't defend. I'm not fooled by his passing and shooting. He made some important blocks today, Craig Lee. He made some important blocks today. Defended well against their players at time. But yeah, interesting.
And everyone's entitled to their opinion, exactly, of course. Yeah. So Craig is entitled to his. But you're wrong, Craig.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, an interesting comment in there. Super chat. Thank you to Tyson, $4.99. Lads, get in. Tyson. When is Howe going to learn to start his best team? Literally just had a conversation about these squad players keep starting. And yeah, there was another comment in the chat as well from Johnny Ola. How talk is cheap. Don't just say players need to get in the side on form. Do it. And that's what we're saying. That's what we're saying, Dazn. We were saying these players need to start. Tonali needs to start. Barnes needs to start. Talk is cheap. Johnny Ola's saying it. Let's do it. You agree?
I like that name, Johnny Ola. I haven't seen that one before. Welcome to the chat, Johnny Ola, and a lovely picture of David Ginola there in the thing. But talk is cheap. Yeah, look, we said last year about being ruthless. Let's see what the squad selection for the Fulham game. Is Tonali starting? Is Joe Linton starting? Let's see. He made the call there today. It'll be based on training as well, but it could be just to kick up the arse some of them need as well.
Definitely. And just keeping in tune with that, Lee Jones says, did Eddie get his starting 11 wrong, especially midfield 3? For me, starting 3 should be Bruno, Tonali, and Willock. We've just touched on that. I think we're kind of in line with that. Maybe the Joe Linton Willock conversation is maybe one to continue on, but Tonali and Bruno definitely, right?
And my only worry with that is treat Joe Willock very delicately, because I don't want to break him. I want to have him for most of the season. I'm just afraid that when he goes down again, that we won't see him again for a while. But delighted he's still with us tonight.
Definitely. I just want to put this on again for Harvey Barnes. Banger after banger. If anyone watches WWE, you know Sheamus, you know what I'm on about. Banger after banger after banger. I love it. Love it.
That's the lad that thinks he's Irish.
No, don't do that. He doesn't think he's Irish. He is Irish.
Sheamus O'Shaughnessy, as he has it down.
Fella.
Say it right. It's Shaughnessy. Get it right. The challenge to Sheamus.
Here. Don't disrespect Sheamus, man. He's the legend, man.
I don't watch it. Sorry, Pete.
Nah, it's all right. I'll let you off. And Jamie says Barnes only scores bangers, which is absolutely right. We've got some other points as well. Although we've picked up points so far, we've been very lucky. Can't see the look lasting forever, though. What are your thoughts on that? We've obviously touched on the league before. You know, is it a case of luck, and is it a case of luck running out, or do you see it differently? Because we've talked about us clicking and making our form and our performances even better. But do you see it the other way? That
why not?
Luck's going to ring out, and we're not going to get points, and we're going to lose games. It's an interesting point.
Look at last season. You couldn't have had any more bad luck than we had last season. Apart from the amazing PSG moment, the way moments are right, but then it was downhill from there. The luck in the draws, the luck with the injuries. I'm sorry, no luck with the injuries. It was one thing after the other last season. So why can't this season be a season of luck? You never know. You never know. Lucky in the draws, getting through to the next rounds of the cup, getting towards the final, maybe even lifting silverware, maybe like Champions League music the following season. You never know. You never know. So let's ride that luck while we can.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. Yeah, I think I'm looking at it more positively. I'm looking at we're rode our luck at the moment, but it's going to click, and it's going to click together and knit, and we're going to get the point. So,
and we won't need luck then. We'll just do the business. And you never know. Then Isak would get his hat trick. You know, I'd love that moment as well. Like we haven't seen a hat trick for a long time.
Absolutely. Matt's puts a point. Great to see you, Matt's in the chat. And what's the point of signing Asula? We've just touched on that. Our opinions on that. For me, I think it just seemed more of a project, and it is going to get minutes here and there rather than starting week in, week out, or coming off the bench. I think it's more of a learning curve and learning off the players to become a better player in the years to come. He's doing well on internationals, and that's probably through the work that he's been doing on the training ground. So one of those that is very much
trust it. Look at Eddie Howe and Hall. Now you see him. How it's coming to fruition. Maybe if you threw him in from the deep end, we wouldn't have as good a player as we have now at Hall.
Yeah, interesting one though, because Lewis Hall at times looked like he was running through treacle defensively in that second half. He didn't look great, and there was a reason why. I think, in my opinion, we brought Lloyd Kelly on when we went 2-1 up. You know, is that a concern for you? It's not one of the questions in the chat, but I'll bring it to you, Daz. Is that a bit of a concern, the fact that he didn't look great, particularly in the second half defensively? Of course, we love his attacking intent. We saw it in internationals and getting assists and looking really good going forward. But are you concerned that he's not quite defensively at it, particularly away from home? Is that why you put Lloyd Kelly in the team in your prediction?
My own reason for Lloyd Kelly on the team was we're playing away from home. Kelly be more physical, as I saw live at St James's Park, and I thought Hall would be the more attacking kind of an option. So I was just trying to second guess Eddie as well. I thought he'd go for more defensive rather than attacking, but he went attacking and bring it and having Hall in. Hall then he ran his socks off, so he ran out of steam and was getting cramped towards the end, and that's why they kind of put him up front towards the end, because and Gordon kind of went down the wing to try and cover. But no, I'm delighted with Hall. I'm delighted with Tino, and it's two positions we have sewn up well into the future. So there are, and probably for England as well as things go on.
Yeah, interesting conversation. Craig Lee, it's far too early for a serious prediction. I think that was to your Champions League music. I think it was actually.
I must have pushed the button on Craig tonight.
This was early on in the show, though. This was early on in the show. To be fair. A dozen games in before I make a shout. Top 4 isn't impossible, though. So just a comment there from Craig from that point of view. An interesting one here. I'll come to you with this one. Claire G says, just very simply, Gordon concerns me. Matt says as well, Gordon went silent when he was playing up top. Better with Asula and Gordon on the wing. Murphy had a shocker. But refocusing that onto Gordon, what are your thoughts on Anthony Gordon? Are you concerned like Claire G and Matt saw that he's not quite at it at the moment? Is there anything that kind of stands out to you with Gordon's performances? What are your thoughts, mate?
I think Gordon started the season first. He was let's say at 4 out of 10. He's gradually getting back to himself. I thought he was like, I'm going to say, okay, I know he had to go up top then, so it kind of took this part of his game away, but he was probably 7-ish today. He's not back to the Gordon we know and love, but he's getting back to it. There was a bit of a smile. Maybe not. I didn't see it much today, but the last day there was a bit of a smile on his face. I think he's one of those that's going to improve as time goes on, and when it clicks for him again, because it will, we'll be laughing. So no, I'm not worried though.
No, it's one of those things that I look for the players' mentality and their personality coming out, and particularly when Shaw scores, his reaction to that, he's straight up to Shaw, he's celebrating, he's proper in it, he feels it, he loves it. If he was just kind of like just trotting off and he wasn't really bothered about the fact that Shaw scored, that would concern me. it doesn't. And I'm going back to the transfer window and what happened in there with Liverpool and all the rest of it. He's still fully committed to Newcastle United. He's finding his way. Someone else made a really good point, actually, and I don't think I kept it.
Sorry, Pete, can I jump in for a second? Because I never showed this picture. Look at him. He's there right and smack in the middle there as well, smiling his head off. So, as is Miggy. But yeah, we didn't get to look at that.
Yeah, and the point that I was making, that someone mentioned it in the chat, and I apologize, I haven't got the comment there, but it said that, you know, Gordon didn't really find his feet until sort of October, November last season, which is where he really kicked into gear. And we're still in September, let's not forget. So there's still time for him to kind of build in and really show the form that he showed last season. I'm not worried about that at all. I'm not worried about Anthony Gordon being or thinking about a move away. You know, there's talks about contracts being or a discussion taking place on that. Maybe as the wins hopefully start kicking in, that those conversations will accelerate quicker. So yeah, I think it's a fair point though. So Matson and Clergy, fair point to raise, but not necessarily a concern for us at this moment in time. A fun question here. And this was after Shaw's goal for you, Daz, and it was like, stop showing Shaw with a tash. She's not particularly happy with that. I'm not gonna lie, it looks like it's like a porn star tash for me. He was definitely going for a vibe at that point when he had those pictures and videos taken. But Lisa's a fan. She's a fan.
Lisa's a fan of holidays. That's what Lisa is, a fan of holidays. And she tells me she's another one coming up in a week's time or something as well. So,
Mr. Mole, if you're watching,
Chris
Mole. Yeah, be very afraid, Chris. Be very afraid. She likes a tash. If you're not growing a tash right now, you're doing it wrong. It's as simple as that.
We have to meet Chris Mole next time we're in Newcastle. We have to meet him as well. Bring him out, Lisa. Let him out for a change.
We should. Lisa knows the next time we're here, get him involved. Get him involved in the old drinking session that we've got planned ahead. We'll be out and about. That's for sure. I want to get your thoughts on the next starting lineup, because there's a couple of people that are putting their predicted lineups of what they think could be the case. So the Clon Lad, great supporter of the channel, great to have you in there as always. Team Fulham: Pope, Trippier, Shaw, Burn, Kelly, Willock, Bruno Tonali, Gordon, Barnes, and Isak. Surely the team picks itself. Yano's coming with his team. He's gone Pope, Trips, Shaw, Kelly and Hall. Oh, it's a Burn dropped. Interesting, very interesting. Tonali, Joelinton, and Willock. No Bruno. Wow. Very interesting. Barnes, Isak, and he's always going to go Miggy. He's always going to go Miggy in the starting lineup. He loves him. Would be his starting lineup against Fulham. What would yours be? Not giving too much away.
I don't think we can answer that, because that would take away from away days. And I'm not sure if it's me or Chris or you or who was on away day. So I don't want to take that away. But the interest, okay.
Let me rephrase the question, Daz. Are there any wild takes in either of these? Any wild?
Miggy, it will be one straight away. And no Bruno. What's going on there? I think that could
didn't play well today, though. I've got to be honest. Didn't play well today.
He didn't do much. Like, he did his job, but he didn't create.
It's an interesting one.
Yeah, it is an interesting one. I have to wait till the way days. Who knows what will happen between now and then as well.
That is true.
I was going to say Anton Robinson. He's a danger down. Is he left? Is he left back? I think he's the American lad. Yeah, Robinson. Yeah. He's always marauding down that wing. I wanted someone to pick him up. He seems to create a lot for Fulham. Last time I saw Fulham play, anyway. But anyway, yeah, let's see. Let's look at that for away days. Chat. Let's celebrate this one first.
Yeah, definitely. Just a counter comment on there. To coin a phrase, is Bruno injured? He doesn't normally come off, so I thought it was a big move. And I think you put it in the chat, Daz, about Bruno coming off. You're kind of like, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah,
but
what's going on?
He wasn't great, and we needed to set up to stop the kind of flow of Wolves getting forward. So maybe he got a little niggle, and we were.
He played for Brazil as well, didn't he? So maybe it was just, maybe it was just safety first as well, and switching to 5 at the back. We're probably going to need to take someone off, obviously, get Kelly on. So it just made sense then, and he wouldn't take Tonali off because he's only come after coming on as a sub, it was probably just to rest Bruno a bit.
Yeah, Jordan 2 for Life puts in a similar team with Willett replacing Joe Linton. Barnes is in the team. Tonali's in the team. Kelly starts left back. It seems to be a common theme going with Kelly instead of Hall. It's purely for defensively because obviously attacking wise, Hall is very good. But they must be thinking that away from home, defensively, we need to be strong. And Mr. Mr. Reactions agrees. So he agrees with Geordie. So sorry, Daz.
Yeah, no, it's good to have someone as well, though, on the bench as a game changer. Like, we had plenty of them today as a game changer. We needed them. But, like, if we are starting with Kelly, to have Hall on the bench, that, okay, we need to go for it. We need to switch it up. But we are one behind, go more attacking. We'll bring on Hall for that, or whoever it might be. But let's see.
Yeah. Ruffiad puts in an interesting comment there. The South American players this weekend were flagging. Some didn't play due to jet lag. So that's something we need to consider that maybe we weren't thinking about. Johnny Greenwood. Get in.
Hey, Johnny.
Come on. And he will tear you apart again. Absolutely. I love Harvey Barnes. There's lots of other comments in here. So thank you for all your comments. We're going to come to them.
Johnny Greenwood. Sorry, Johnny Greenwood, has Nick signed his 9-year contract that we've offered him and ripped up the 5-year contract you offered him? I hope so.
Not. Hey, there's still time. There is still time. That is absolutely sure. We're going to come to it. We've got the conversation about Man City. We'll come back to there in a second. Just a comment here. Trippier is a massively influential player for us. He is absolutely.
On and off the pitch.
Yeah, definitely.
But around the squad, that's what I'm getting at there.
No, I agree. John Wick. Hello, guys. One of very few magpies from Pakistan. Great to have you.
Get in. Welcome.
Yeah, lovely. To have you with us. Thank you for joining us. Don't you guys think NUFC is more flexible in these 4 games? It's a good sign to have a plan B for the second half. I think that's in respect to the fact that we brought the subs on that we did to change the game. Is that something that we're maybe overlooking here, Daz?
No, and I think something else, I think it was a comment, as I'm not sure if we started, but is you can talk about game management, but player management, like with Bunce looking at how much are feeding back into Eddie as well, how much we should probably be playing some players, and maybe that has an impact as well on player selection for games. It is great to have a plan B, but it's also great to start the match with your best possible squad as well. So a bit of both really, and whatever gets us over the line to get us our victories will do, John. But welcome to Loaded, and great to have you with us in the chat. We see what else is in the chat. Okay,
I'm back.
this one from fellow Darren in the chat. Do you think we are being more selective? Maybe this is it. Where I saw it here. Do you think we're being more selective with our pressing rather than 100% for a full 90? This may be planned or to prevent the amount of injuries we got last season. So do you think Bunce is having an effect there, I guess?
Could well be. And if you look at the posing picture, the winning picture, he's in it. He is in it.
Is he? Let's bring it up again.
Want to bring it up, Daz? There he is. You can see him right next to the super security guy, the legend security guy behind him. So interesting to see that he was with the boys, because you don't see, and correct me if I'm wrong, you don't see Darren Eales in there, you don't see Paul Mitchell in there, but Bunce was with.
You can see him. Eddie's standing on him, I think.
Yeah.
No, maybe not.
Maybe not.
I'm only joking.
But the fact that Sky kept mentioning them and kept cutting to them in the stands, and the three of them were together. The fact that Bunce is in with those guys at the end of the game is quite telling. So he clearly has an influence on the training methods, and there's been rumors. There's been lots of conversations about it, about the fact that the training methods have changed in terms of not being as intense, that they're being monitored in terms of their workload a lot more now with Bunce in charge in comparison to before. And look, as Paul Mitchell said in his initial interview when he signed over the summer, that Bunce went in Monaco, made a huge change. He reduced the amount of injuries significantly, and if he can do that for Newcastle, we can have this squad of players available for the whole season. Then maybe that Champions League music will not be. It may not be. We may not be
up there nicely, Pete.
I tried to segue into it, but it may not be the worst conversation in the world.
Not yet. For now,
not yet. But no, a great question in there as well. Question, thinking ahead, but could we be beating Man City in a few weeks' time? And I suppose another Man City question from Jersey Mag, great to have you with us. Potential Man City points deduction might come in handy this season. Think about the Man City game. We're kind of leapfrogging Fulham here, but you know, are we getting ahead of ourselves with the Man City game? Or what are your thoughts around the initial question?
I always it's partly, I know we're at home, but I kind of anything we get from the Man City games, it's always a bonus for me. But yeah, we are getting way ahead of ourselves talking about Man City as well. But again, then on the points deduction, we have zero control in any of that. So let's say we finish sixth, and it was going down to fifth spot for Champions League, and City were deducted or relegated or whatever they might be, then they couldn't sit to play above. So we can't control any of that. That's too far-fetched. That's like crystal ball stuff. So whatever, let's look after our own business first and then see where things are.
Absolutely. Another comment in there from Clonlad, from Gary V. We also have Bunce that might have input over the using players. Maybe that was part of our discussion just a second ago. Another question from Andy Ford: if you start Barnes, then you have to play Gordon on the right, which is not his position, although he played there a lot for Everton, and we started for us last year on the left. If you play him out of position, you'll push him closer to Liverpool. Do you agree with that? If we play Gordon out on the right, Barnes on the left,
because
he leaves. I don't think so.
No. Sorry, Andy. I don't. I respect your opinion there, but I don't agree with it, because always when Barnes and Gordon are playing and they swap and they'll rotate. Like one isn't getting joy, they'll switch over. They'll swap. Keep the defenders that are marking them guessing. So left may and probably is his best position, but I think it's definitely not going to push him towards Liverpool. If he wanted to go to Liverpool, he'll go to Liverpool eventually. But if he wants to stay with Newcastle, stay in this project, believes that in this project, and gets back to where he was last season, because he's not going to Liverpool the way it stands now either, and on this kind of form, he has to get back to his best as well. But I want him to sign a new contract with us and kick on into the Champions League with us into the future, maybe even next season.
Yeah, maybe, absolutely. A few Tash comments. Yano put Tashes are leg ticklers. And Yano and Gary V's responded, I've never let a Tash near my legs, mate, which is all for the games. I love it. The Tash conversation has continued, and there he is. in all his glory. One of our goal scorers today, Fabian Shaw, fantastic. And Lisa put, and this is about 15 minutes ago, so it should be at 200 by now because we've got 300 in the chat. Only this was 15 minutes ago. 28 more likes for 200. Get that button smashed. If you're beginning right now, you just joined. Come on, you know it makes sense. And I'm just going to throw this in there because Kenzie's putting there banger after banger. I love it. And we're going to keep that flowing. That is for sure. Transfer related.
Oh, not again. It couldn't be transfer talk again.
I think it's an interesting one to bring up away from Newcastle coming to the last few.
I know what it is. Go on.
You know which one it is. And it's from the Clon lad. Always comes up with great questions. And he puts, would you go back in for Gay in January? Not for 75 million, of course not. Has looked brutal for Palace this season. I don't know how much you've watched of Palace, mate, since the window's closed or at any point this season. But would Gay be in your discussions going into January? Have you watched how he's played?
I did watch a small bit at the first one or two games of Crystal Palace. Well, that was probably and even after the transfer window closed, I did watch him a bit. I'd go back in for him, but for a set period of time. I'd give him first. It'll be the first option I go for, but I'd quickly move off from him and go to the alternative plan A. And if we're getting no joy out of Palace, but not for the 75 million. And I see Palace fans as well saying that they should have taken the 70 million offer or whatever the final offer was from Newcastle for Marquis. But I would not spending all January waiting on him. And it's not him waiting on Palace and Parish to make his mind up and stringing us along. No, not having that again. I'd even try and get it done before the transfer window opens and take it or leave it.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. A very interesting one. There have been some games where Gay's played well for Palace this season against Leicester, and I was watching that game in particular on Saturday. I was on a Gay watch mission. I'm not going to lie. He was not good. He was not good at all. And to be fair, he's come out on social media since and said he wasn't at the level. He wasn't good enough for that. He's a very honest player like that. He'll admit when he didn't play well. He'll admit when he thinks he's had a good game, and he was not good at all. I absolutely agree with the con lad. 75 million, not even part of the discussion. Like for me, if we're going to sign him in January, I'm talking max 50 million. Like you're taking a chunk of money off there. You're taking 25 million off that, and that's max. And I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't be against Newcastle United, and I've got a feeling they will. I think I'll not be against Newcastle United dipping into the European market and getting a player for 25, 30 million that's probably on that level of Mark Gay. I genuinely think. I'm not going to lie. All the rubbish that we've had from D and all the rest of the Palace fans, I just want them to lose every game. I'm not even going to hide it. I just want them to lose every game because not only will that bring the Gay transfer fee down, and I can see them there in that lock
2 points.
15th. Not only will it bring the Gay price down, on the back of that, I think it would be absolutely sweet. And I'm not saying this is going to happen, but I would love this to happen. If we went and got a young European centre-back in January for pittance in comparison to the 75 million, and he has a superb season, whoever it is, and then we go and pick up Gay for like 25 million next summer because he refuses to sign a contract. And not only do we get another centre-back with Mark Gay, we've got a Botman coming back in, and we've got an experienced Fabian Schär. And I'm not putting Burn into that conversation because his contract's out this summer. He might well go. Who knows? And then we really bolt the horse. and we go heavy on those 4 centre backs because we've got European football, and that's why I'm saying it. Because we've got European football, you've got the opportunity to mix and match centre back. I'm not saying that was happening, probably won't happen, but I would love it just to kind of rub it in to the Palace. I would love it.
I'm sure we'd have a few challengers to go in for Gay at that kind of a price. But let's look at that. Let's get to Fulham first. Never mind January, and then never mind the summer. We see how it all plays out. Any more questions, Pete? Because I want to give a shout out to Manscaped as well before I forget it again.
Yes, there's a couple more, and then we'll get to Manscaped. Yano's just put a comment in here. Barnes is a better finisher than Gordon, so Barnes should start on the left. And I'm inclined to agree with that. Absolutely. There was some comments, just some comments from about Gay. Gay is looking poorer. Even Palace fans wishing he'd gone. And I'd seen that. There's a lot of comments on social media after yesterday's game saying they'd wish they'd have taken the 70 million. So that feeds into that conversation. Absolutely. And Craig Lee says he wouldn't have Gay. He's like Shaw, not defensively sound, but great on the ball, not an elite defender. I think people would disagree with that comment about Shaw, but would agree maybe he's definitely not worth that.
Who does Craig want, though? Then who would Craig like?
Put it in, Craig. Let us know. Let us know who you would want.
We'll put that up.
Last little side comment for me, and then and there's a couple of questions kind of to end on that I wanted to save. Barnes is a 15-goal a season winger, fantastic asset to have at the club. Ginola would have been proud of that goal today, absolutely. And Sky touched on it as well today, of how good it was. And
in the famous kit as well, the entertainers kit. So yeah, so maybe we'll go to one or two of those questions as well, Pete, towards the end, because but I want to give a shout out to Manscaped. And we'll find the pictures along the way here as well. But fellas, do you want your grooming routine to be a one and done deal? Well, the days of using the same trimmer for your face and your private parts are over, thanks to our friends at Manscaped. They've come up with an ultimate package to keep your hairs trimmed from 12 to 6. Introducing the Beard and Balls Bundle, featuring the Lawnmower 5.0 and the Beard Hedger. A trimmer for the moneymaker and another one for the boys downstairs. Get 20% off and free shipping using the code LOADED20, scrolling at the bottom of the screens there. And that's 20% off and free shipping with the code LOADED20 at manscaped.com for the premium grooming experience. Trust Manscaped. And actually just flash up some of the pictures here as well, so you see the products that are available from Manscaped. And go to the website and put that code in, and you will be sorted. That's it from Manscaped. Now, Pete, back to those final questions.
Definitely. Just before that, Lisa's giving us an update as a spanner. We're nearly there, 7 away from that.
Come on,
we got 2
or 1-1. Come on, get it to 2-1 with the likes.
Get it in there. Come on, man. Come on. Thank you, Lisa, for the update. I'm just looking at these comments. There's a lot of Everton comments in there. Branthwaite when Everton go down. Love it. And look, sign Branthwaite for 30 million. 30 million when they get relegated. Take it all day long. That would be an absolute dream, especially them going into their new stadium. Last week
up bottom of the table there. Even though, Pete, I wanted them to beat Villa, I'm afraid. I was the only one out of the three of us that wanted them to beat Villa. But it wasn't to be. They were done again.
To be fair, you're right. You were the only one. I was kind of like, yeah, I'll take the Villa win for Everton to be down there. But yeah, well, it is what it is. It is what it is. Last 3 questions. 1 comment, and I'll come to the 1 comment first. Tony, great supporter of the channel. Tony Beasley says Pope's shot stopping is outstanding. Is there a better shot stopper in the league? Allison, maybe. That was a world-class save late on in the game that could have made it 2-2. Unbelievable. What do you think of Tony's comments, Dad?
I agree, Tony, on Pope's shot stopping is outstanding. His footwork is atrocious, though, and he does make me nervous with some of the clearances from with his feet. But he's an unbelievable shot stopper. I love him, and I'm delighted once his shoulder stays intact as well. That he is our keeper. I do want us to bring in another keeper though next summer. Sorry, a keeper we're going to play next summer as a long-term probably replacement for Popey. But I'm absolutely delighted we have Popey, and he is my number one.
Yeah, he's the number one until we get a brand new number one. It's as simple as that. I said it to one of the lads in the Midlands South chat the other day. We've got a really bad pool of goalkeepers, but we've got a very, very good goalkeeper as number one. So we're like, yes, we've got a great goalkeeper in there, but the pool below him are not good at all. It's a really not a great pool of goalkeepers. So we're just praying on him staying fit and continuing to make saves like that. Absolutely.
The luck. That's our luck. If we can keep all our key players and so many things, then who knows?
Yeah, I'll answer this one very. Tony. Yeah, there you go. I'll answer this one very quickly. Duran's goal, superb finish, by the way. Yeah, the little arms do make the difference. Not quite.
It's a great shot, wasn't it?
Oh, brilliant shot! Yeah. And stop winding Lisa up. 198. And then she says, someone's unliked. You're winding her up. Don't anger Lisa. She'll come for you. Okay? It's now back.
Get it over 200 and Lisa will go on another holiday. There you go.
Whoever unliked it made the mistake because it's now back up to where it should be. Absolutely. And there was another comment in there. Yado says, looking at a defender, you go for Tarkowski at Everton. I think, well, we were looking at getting him on a free, but I think it was down. I think at his age now, it's not really the profile we will look at. But yeah,
Tarkowski. No, are you pulling the piss?
To be fair, I think he's good. I think he's a good defender, but I just think his age now, his age and his profile means that we wouldn't look for him.
Not for us. No.
As a defender, I'm not concerned at all. Like I think he's a very, very good defender at a very poor club. Just my opinion. 199, one away. Whoever's in this chat not putting would like it. Come on, make it make sense.
If you don't get the 200, we're going to stay on this stream, so you'll be warned.
We're there.
Yay!
No. Lisa can. And she just said it as well. I was about to say Lisa can sleep now, and she just said it as well. Well nagged. I like it. Don't do that, Claire. Don't do it. Don't anger the beast.
That spanner might disappear, Claire.
Yeah, Lisa will hunt you down. That's for sure. Right, last few points. Really, really quickly. Some of them are really quick. And I want to get to the final question. Did I hear a rumor that Isak wants a release clause in his new deal? Would that be an issue for you? This is in addition to this from Niall. Would that be an issue for you if we got Isak to sign the contract this season, mate? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so it's like what kind of a release clause? Because is it a release clause that is only active, like Bruno is active for a certain period of time, and is it one that would continue to be active each season, each transfer window for a given period of time? How much is that release clause? There's questions like that. So. I don't want us to do everything we can to get to tie down Isak and for him to want to stay. But I think the best thing we can do for that is to get Champions League football, and then no one's going to want to go anywhere. But I don't know, Niall. I think I need a few more details before I answer.
Yeah. For me, it'd be the price. For me, if we're going to give him a release clause, it's nothing less than 120 million.
Yeah.
That for me, and I'll be honest with you, that would be an outstanding release clause that I don't think a lot of clubs will be able to afford, which almost fits into our bracket. And I would have it, if we were to give him a release clause, that it would be in a very similar PSR bracket that we did with Bruno. It has to be.
Yeah.
Has to be. We have to make it favourable for us as a club if we're going to give him the release clause that he wants. But there was talks today, Daz, that, you know, everything within his contract talks are as normal as any other club in terms of release clause. There was no confirmation of that. They were saying that they are moving along swimmingly and that there's likely to be some good news on that. But yeah.
Yeah, look, get Gordon and Isaac tied down to decent longer contracts that we can sleep easy at night, especially when those transfer windows open. So but let's see.
Absolutely. Moving on. Last two questions in the chat. Chris said, can Newcastle push City and Arsenal to win the title with us not having Europe this season? He's confident, is our Chris. NUFC.
You're on a different level. That's a different level, Chris. A title challenge now. I'm not even brave enough to say that. No, Newcastle aren't going to be able to challenge City or Arsenal for the title. I'd happily take third, though. How about that? I take third. Yeah, that's step by step. We don't want to get too ahead of ourselves either.
Absolutely. And the last one is one I wanted to stick to. Ali B, great to see you in the chat. Ali's man of the match was Shaw. Our impact player was Trips. We need him, the leader. So my question to you is, who is your man of the match, Daz? And who is your impact player? Two there.
Okay, I've not thought about it so much. You know, I'll align with Shar as man of the match. Craig probably won't like that, but Ali might. Because look, he did dig us out. Look, it's an easy then. Char and Barnes. I'm going to go Barnes as our impact player for that shot alone. Look, the goal scorers. Because there's plenty of them I definitely wouldn't give it to. Now looking at the list. I thought Hall did well as well. Then he just ran out of steam. Pope with some of those saves. But I'm going to give it to Shar. Shar for man of the match, and Barnes for just the goal, the wonder goal.
I'm going to go Shaw. No, sorry. I'm going to go Barnes man of the match for the winner. And not just that, I thought he played really well when he came on. I thought he was a really impactful player on the pitch. I'm going to give it to Willock as my impact player. I was really, really impressed with him. And when we finish this show, I'm going to go back and watch the game again, as I normally do, because I was really impressed watching it live. But obviously, when you're watching it live, you're emotionally invested in the game. When you know the result and you go back and watch it again, you can see little pockets of things differently. So I'm going to go back and just focus.
Are you going to watch the first half as well? Or are you just going to watch the second half?
No. I watch it all because I'll look at the way in which we played in our really commanding moments, because we had a commanding first half. And then I'm going to look at the sort of the decline after the goal and how we let them back in the game. But obviously, I'll spend more time watching the second half, and I do a lot of rewinding. I feel like I'm Eddie Howe right now. Just like I do this. I've been doing it for years, like decades, even just watching the games back when they've been on Sky and the recording. I do like to watch the games back, particularly on Sky, and just kind of just picking up little pockets of things that I notice about the team. So I'm going to do that, but I'm going to hone in on particularly on Willock's performance, because I knew he came on and made a real big impact, but I wanted to see how big of an impact he made, because I thought he was brilliant. So yeah, they're my two, Barnes and Willock, man of the match and impact. But yeah, there's other people that are put in the chat. Pope man of the match. For the Clon Lad, absolutely. I wouldn't be against any of these comments in here. Geordie 2 for life. Is it Niles put Barnes as well? There are others as well that I think have put comments in there. Shaw, for example. Shaw's goal made an awful defending for their goal. He's obviously not particularly happy with that. But there were other comments as well with regards to
hang on, what that one up again? He said I was staring into his eyes or something, was
it? Staring into the tash, more like staring into the tash. That's what is happening. Brant is gone for a Pope. He likes Pope for man of the match. Yeah, interesting. And we've got 209 likes at this moment in time, so we're smashing it at the moment.
Keep liking. Right, last thing, because we always in the show we never said this, but we do a range of merch. You can see the web's link scrolling across the bottom there. It's also, you can see at the bottom of our YouTube videos, but there's mugs, there's loads of stuff there, mugs, and there's t-shirts of all various descriptions, there's hats, there's Adidas hats, there's other hats, there is a range of stuff there, so go check that out when you get a chance, and you might see something you fancy on that. But that was a quick change.
Quick change, I've got it here. You know what, I absolutely love this top. It's so comfortable. And like you've just put on there, Daz, there's so many different colors there. This top,
too many colors.
Yeah, too many colors. Great colors as well. I'm gonna invest in a number of other colors. I absolutely love this top. The quality of this top is absolutely brilliant. So comfortable. I love wearing it. I wore it. I think I wore it for a couple of shows this week now. Just a lovely top to wear. And of course, it's repping the Loaded. And, if you're part of the Loaded clan, if you're part of the Loaded Ultras, why not purchase one of these bad boys and rep your channel,
You sold it to me, Pete. You sold it. Right, let's go before we piss everyone else off. Right, that is it for tonight. We will be back. We'll be back during the week. Pete has mentioned top table talk. We'll have one of those during the week. We'll have an away days. You never know what else we may dream up this week. We have to catch up with Chris as well and hear about his holiday. So hear all about that. That is it for us. Back tomorrow's Monday, back at it again. But hey, we can smile. We got those 3 points away from home. Our big downfall last season. So we're on the way. How'd you like that? Good night, everyone. See you later. Drink it like me.